How's it going, guys? In today's video, I am going to be doing a little bit of a different sort of video. I never do tier lists, but I thought this would be a little bit of a special sort of video. Just a little bit different. Usually I do tech reviews or something like that, but I kind of wanted to change it up a little bit by doing basically one of my favorite rappers, Eminem's tier list, from all of his studio albums, from the Slim Shady LP all the way to to Music to Be Murdered By. And basically, I'm deciding to do this, just because he's one of my favorite rappers, and I know that he hasn't come out with anything since 2020, but my opinions since 2020 has changed a lot because I basically discovered him in 2020. And so over that period of time, over the past basically almost 3 years now, I've changed a lot on basically all of the opinions of, a lot of Eminem albums. So I am going to be doing basically a tier list, starting with the Slim Shady LP all the way to his newest album, Music to Be Murdered By. And I'm not going to be including a lot of these other ones that are mentioned here. So I'm not going to be including Infinite. I'm not going to be including the Re-Up, or I'm not going to be including any of the soundtracks or anything like that. No D12, no Bad Meets Evil. I'm just going to be doing the solo studio albums that everyone knows and loves, or hates. And there are a few that I don't feel as good about, and there's a lot that I feel great about because he's just a great rapper. So essentially, let's just start it off. The Slim Shady LP. So this came out in 1999, and my thoughts on this record, when I started out, I really, really, really liked this record. So when I first discovered the Slim Shady LP, I don't think it was the first album that I actually discovered. The first one I think was the Eminem Show, but Slim Shady LP probably followed right after that. I mean, it's just one of his classic albums. It's his first one. There are several great tracks on there, several classics. There's My Name Is, there's Guilty Conscience, there's Bad Meets Evil, and obviously they made basically an album together, or a mixtape, or an EP, or whatever, and there's several other ones there's some ones that are, definitely haven't aged too well, but there's also some other great ones oh my God, My Fault, Rock Bottom, let's see what else, there's, trying to think of some other ones, but, what's the one? I don't even know. But there's plenty of, ones on there, that are really great. The thing that I would say about the Slim Shady LP now in 2023 is that it definitely feels outdated. It definitely feels from 1999. My biggest problem with it is that although there's a lot of amazing beats on there produced by Dr. Dre, especially Guilty Conscience or My Name Is, there's a lot of not as great ones, Come On Everybody, and even My Fault. A lot of those those kind of songs really have not aged that well just because of the production, and also some of the sort of lyrical topics on there are a lot better talked about on the newer LPs that he made. So the Eminem Show especially, also of course the Marshall Mathers LP. I think he really kind of improved his a lot of things after the Slim Shady LP. But that doesn't mean this is a particularly bad album. Oh, 97 Bonnie and Clyde. That's the song that I was thinking of. 97 Bonnie and Clyde is absolutely amazing. Also, Just Don't Give a Fuck. Still Don't Give a Fuck. Just so many different, really great, tracks. But still, it's a little bit, just old. Not like it is. It still does hold up in a way. But because there are just so many awesome tracks, but there's some tracks, like I said, aren't as well produced, or a lot of the lyrical things that are talked about are better talked about in later records. So, I am going to put this, I don't know, there's a lot of different places that we could put this. There's like ones like the A tier, like the A tier would be good. The B tier, I wouldn't say it's B tier though. I would say it's pretty high quality. This is a pretty high quality record. And even though it's not as good, in my opinion, as the Marshall Mathers LP or the Eminem show, I would definitely say it's a quality record. So we are going to put this in the A tier for now. I think that's pretty well placed. So now let's talk about basically one of the greatest records, not just by Eminem but of all time, the Marshall Mathers LP. And this one is like special because this one has basically every single track has so much meaning and it's just so well produced. Lyrical themes are on point. There's songs, basically like every single song on there is amazing. But The Way I Am, Drug Ballad, Under the Influence, Amityville. There's Remember Me. There's the Real Slim Shady, obviously, but there's just so many good. Every single song on there is just amazing. I mean, and every single one is well produced. It sounds like Eminem's like maturing on this record. He sounds like he is talking about themes that are still talked about a lot today. And it's not as outdated. It's still a little bit outdated. Obviously, there's some things that are a little bit outdated, but overall, Marshall Mathers LP is basically an instant classic. So we are going to put this at the S tier. It was already a classic right when it dropped. I mean, it was just amazing. It was really well received, and it's even better received now, obviously. And I would definitely consider it Eminem's one of the best, if not the best record. So yeah. But there is the Eminem show, and I'm already going to put this at the S tier and a little bit, I'm going to put this even above the Marshall Mathers LP because Eminem comes out in 2002 with, in my opinion, the Eminem show is the best record that has basically been released by Eminem. And, even it's right on point with like the Marshall Mathers LP, but in my opinion, I would actually say it's even better. Because of how it's even better produced. It is almost like a cinematic experience in some way. You have these really, really hard-hitting drums like on Business and White America and, like Cleaning Out My Closet. Oh my God, such a good record. Square Dance, just absolutely amazing. Just so good. Like, absolutely, like, amazing. And, also some other ones. The track with D12 is great. Track with Dr. Dre is great. And the tracks with Obi Trice, awesome. Without Me is awesome. Just basically amazing record. And everything is just so well produced. All the lyrical themes are great. I would say even, like I said, slightly better than the Marshall Mathers LP, but they're both on S tier. But that's why I did put the Eminem show slightly higher than the Marshall Mathers LP, just because it's actually like insane how good it is. There's no skips on both albums, by the way. There's no skips. I mean, there's no songs where I'm like, okay, I'm not going back to that one. Even the like ones that are even more silly or a little bit overplayed, I'll still play it because it's just that good. Superman, awesome record. Just basically every single one. Haley's song is, in my opinion, the best, one of the best, maybe top 5 best Eminem songs. And there's not much else to say about the Eminem show except that it is basically I would say the greatest record, not just by Eminem, but probably of all time, my personal favorite, just by any artist. So let's move on to Encore. And Encore, I've never really liked Encore. That's not true. There were some times where I did really like Encore. I do remember in the beginning, I did really fuck with that song "Crazy in Love." I don't like that song that much anymore. I really don't enjoy that song anymore. Obviously, "Mockingbird" is one of his best songs. But I would even say that's a little bit just too overplayed and a little bit just too overrated. I would say some other songs like Haley's song and "Going Through Changes" on the Recovery album, and some others, like they're way better. Not way better. I'm not saying they're way better, but they're a little bit better. I would say "Like Toy Soldiers" is really good. "Yellow Brick Road" is really good. "Never Enough" with 50 Cent is really good. The D12 track on that one's pretty good too. But then the middle part of Encore is not great at all. It's not well produced. Songs like "Puke" are just unbearable to listen to. What I will say is that I think the songs like "Just Losing" and "Ass Like That" are pretty funny. But I won't like replay it that much. Not like for example, "Without Me" on the Eminem show. Like I will replay that even though it's too really overplayed. Encore, it's overplayed, and it also I just won't replay it. Like it's just not a song like those two songs I won't replay it, even though it is pretty funny. It's just stupid and like really just doesn't make any sense. And "Big Weenie" is probably the worst song like I've ever heard of like any artist. But I'm not saying like all of it's bad. Like I said, there are some like songs that are a little bit better than others. And definitely the album's not a total dud. We have gotten total dud records from Eminem, one in particular, but we're not going to talk about that yet. Encore though, Encore, all I can put it, I'll just say it's mid. Honestly, there's just I'm not saying that it's the album itself is like mid. I'm just saying there's so many duds on there and there are some really high highs. There's also some too many low lows. So it's just in the middle, essentially. And so I'm just going to put that at C tier. I mean, I'm pretty confident about that. And it's fine. I'm not going to come back to it that much. I don't usually come back to it that much. But it's only fine. I would maybe even put it at the D tier. But it's not that bad. It's just mid. Yeah. And there's a lot of duds on there. So, yeah. So, following this, Eminem takes a very long hiatus, about, I think, 5 years, and he comes back in sort of a weird way. He comes back with the album Relapse, which is considered now a cult classic, and is considered by a lot to be Eminem's best album. I'm not even kidding. Like, it's just like... Some people just consider it better than, the Marshall Mathers LP and the Eminem Show. And though I do think that it is really good, and it's really, it's pretty dark, and stuff like that. And there are some amazing records, songs on there. I wouldn't say it's up to the Eminem Show or the Marshall Mathers LP because of its somewhat lackluster production, and also the accents are a little bit too much, especially when you get near the end of the record. You're like, okay, I'm just done with these accents. It's just like, it just gets annoying by a certain point. But what I would say is that Relapse is a very, very good album. I would say that there are some just absolutely killer tracks on there. I would say that it's aged pretty well. I would say that it is one of the best horrorcore records of all time, and that's just yeah, basically, like, compared to like every other horrorcore album, I don't think any horrorcore album can really beat it. And it has some just awesome tracks. Yeah, Beautiful is probably top 10 Eminem. There's also 3 a.m. is awesome. My Mom, pretty funny and awesome. There's also, some ones that are a little bit overplayed but still pretty good. There's some kind of corny ones too. Like what is that song? Like Crack a Bottle. And but there's also some like so good tracks. Like Insane, really well produced, really well made. Stay Wide Awake is awesome. One of my favorite Eminem tracks, probably top 15, something like that. definitely up there. And Underground is pretty sick too. So yeah, I would say that Relapse, even though it's not S tier, I would definitely say it's just like right up to that point, like just up to that point. So I will put Relapse slightly behind the Slim Shady LP, and but it is like just basically just as good as the Slim Shady LP, and just like it's so close. It's so close to the Eminem Show and Marshall Mathers LP, but it's just not there yet. It's I mean, well, it's never gonna be there because I mean, but but it's really good, and I can see why people say that it's an S tier. But just it's a little bit like it's a little it's I wouldn't say it's like a complete classic. Like I wouldn't say it's a complete classic. I would say it's almost there though, and it's a really fun record. It's a really fun record, and usually I can go through almost all of the track list without like skipping any songs. You know, like I said, there's some corny ones, but yeah, A tier. Okay, this video is gonna go on forever, huh? Let's see. So the next record that we're gonna be talking about is the following record, Recovery, and so this album, I think. This album is awesome. This album's really, really good. And I would actually say better than Relapse. So I would immediately say that. Now, a lot of people would 100% disagree with me, but I love Recovery a lot more than other people. Every single song on there is great. There's no skips on there. Spacebound, Cinderella Man, 25 to Life, Cold Wind Blows, Going Through Changes, like I said, is like top 10, top 15. So Bad, On Fire gets a lot of hate, but I really like that. Honestly, and the production is better than Relapse too. I would say that honestly, there's no skips. I wouldn't skip anything, even the overplayed tracks. Yeah, I know there's the Love the Way You Lie, and there's there's Not Afraid, but I don't skip those tracks. Like, it's still really good tracks. Like, there's No Love has some of the best verses I've ever heard from Eminem. Yeah, Spacebound's really good. Yeah, there's no complaints with Recovery, and I would definitely say Recovery, in my opinion, is a classic. A lot of people wouldn't say that, but I'm immediately saying it's S tier. I'm saying it's not as good as the Marshall Mathers LP or the Eminem Show, but it's right up there, so it has to be put in S tier. So yeah, okay. The Marshall Mathers LP 2. A lot of people will like this record, and I'm one of those people. I really like that record. The Marshall Mathers LP2 is really good. What I would say is that his flow is kind of annoying through a lot of the record. And he also has some aspects where he's trying to be the old Shady, and he's not really getting there. He's not exactly getting there, because his flow is a little bit different. The themes aren't as good, but it's still pretty good. There's some really good records on there. Bad Guy is really awesome. Really good development. Rhyme or Reason is awesome. So Much Better. Awesome. And there's also some duds. There's a couple of duds. Stronger Than I Was, for sure, is a dud. It's usually a skip for me every single time. I know this is on the deluxe edition, but I believe it's on the deluxe edition, but Desperation is like not great at all. I mean, it's just like not good. Yeah, there's a few duds, but there's also some great ones. There's also Evil Twin. It's awesome. Definitely come back to that. But yeah, definitely I'm not a huge fan of the flow on this album. Not a huge fan. I definitely think the flow on Relapse and Recovery is much better than it is on the Marshall Mathers LP2. It's very choppy. It's a little bit choppy. And the beats don't go all the time exactly with how Eminem's, rapping on the song. So I would say that it is pretty well produced. It is very like Marshall Mathers LP-esque, but it's not, I don't think it's to the level of the Slim Shady LP or Relapse, so I'm probably going to put it in B. It's really good. it's not as much my kind of thing. I know a lot of people like it, and I like it too. I definitely like it more than Encore, and I almost like it as much as Relapse or Slim Shady LP, but I just come back to both of those records more than the Marshall Mathers LP 2. So yeah, that's just me. And yeah, like I said, Recovery, yeah, is definitely better than the Marshall Mathers LP 2, in my opinion. So yeah, then okay. Now we're gonna go to everyone's favorite record, and I'm joking, by the way. This is not a good record at all. This is just plain just bad. There are tracks on here that can be good, and Castle in a Rose obviously are really good. Top 15, something like that. And I would definitely say, yeah, those two songs are awesome. Really, really good. But the rest of Revival, and also Framed is really good. But the rest of Revival, Walk on Water is just too preachy. Believe is, the flow on there is just horrendous. The production on some of these ones, like the Skylar Grey track, is one of the worst songs I've ever heard. Heat is one of the worst songs I've ever heard by Eminem. And so is Remind Me. Remind Me is not good either. Remind Me is terrible. Yeah, there's really not much else to say. It's poorly produced, a lot of it. There's some good ones, I guess, but I don't come back to this album. And even I don't come back for Castle or Rose either. And I can put it at E or F, but I'm probably just going to put it at F, because even though there are some saving tracks, I'm not coming back to any parts of those records, even the parts that are good, because the rest of the album is so bad. Luckily, the next year, in 2018, Eminem decides to step it up a little bit and responds to all the criticism that he's been getting with Kamikaze. And Kamikaze is an awesome record. Kamikaze is awesome. He goes crazy on basically every single track. I would say there's a few duds. I would say that Nice Guy is a dud, and I would say Venom is just a little bit too much. It's just too much. I'm not saying that I don't like not go back to it, but it's just a little bit of I don't replay it as much, but I don't really skip it. I don't really like skip it or anything like that. But Nice Guy, I definitely skip a little bit, unless I'm feeling like it's kind of like a mean track. It's just kind of like mean. It's very ugly. It's not well produced. It's like kind of like it's only okay in like some certain situations where you're like, okay, I'm just angry or whatever. Like, but honestly, Kamikaze is really well produced. Besides that Nice Guy track, I would say is really, really well produced. It's executive produced by Dr. Dre, and I would just say immediately, this was a huge improvement over Revival. Holy, and I would definitely say that I come back to this more than Marshall Mathers LP2, and basically just as much as a Relapse. So I'm putting it in the A tier. Good job, Eminem, for putting out a very solid record, just really solid in 2018, just going crazy. I mean, there's greatest is amazing. Okay, we're gonna talk about the final track, and that final track is Music to Be Murdered By. Now, Music to Be Murdered By is I really like it. I don't think I like it as much as Kamikaze, because Kamikaze is just straight fire from from the start to the end. It's just straight fire. Music to Be Murdered By does do that, especially in the beginning. Does do that with Unaccommodating, is pretty awesome. There's some other tracks, especially like Darkness, Godzilla goes insane. But I would say the track list is, pretty long and sort of gets, not that it's drawn out or anything like that, but I would say that there are some couple of duds that are just I don't know why he would put it on. Little Engine is a super, super annoying track. I would also say a few tracks at the end were pretty annoying. I Will, though, is really good. And besides that, Music to Be Murdered By is really well produced. I do really like the Alfred theme that he goes for. But yeah, everything else, I would say it's just as good as the Marshall Mathers LP too. There are a couple of duds, but I still really like it. It's one of my I replay it a lot. What I would say is it's a really replayable record. It's really really replayable, especially with the songs like Godzilla. I mean, there's some straight like fire on there. I mean, it's just really really good, and there's also some really meaningful tracks, stuff like that. But we're gonna put it, I think, right at the B tier. So, the B tier, and that's basically it for my tier list. I don't really have much else to say. Besides that, Eminem is one of the greatest rappers of all time. He's had one or two dud records, but besides that, every single one has been good, great, amazing, or just straight, just classic, basically. I would say definitely the classics are the Eminem Show and the Marshall Mathers LP and Recovery. And there's also some just absolutely amazing ones, with just one or two, things about it that aren't, but they're fun. They're really, really good. Yeah, Slim Shady LP, Relapse, and Kamikaze, absolutely fire. And there's also, the good. There's really, good. I'm not saying it's like, it's like good, and it's sometimes great, the Marshall Mathers LP 2 and Music to Be Murdered By is great, but it's not like amazing, right? Because there's just a few duds. And Encore is just middle of the line, and then Revival is just not it. So yeah, that's basically it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you guys like this style of content, because maybe I'll do another one soon. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and see you guys in the next one. Peace.